How's it going, Laser Bruce's on Bobby Sixkilla, and welcome back to the life and suffering of Sir Brante. Not too much suffering yet, thankfully, but definitely a little bit of life. Hopefully we can keep that going in the next episode, shall we? The intrusion doesn't bode well to start, actually. Ever since the news of Grandfather's impending arrival, there has not been a single day when the house has not been cleaned or decorated. Your parents anxiously make sure that everything is in order. They tell you to wash your face and hands after walks and scold you for leaving books on the floor. They tell Gloria she'll be flogged if she's ever seen hiding in the attic. They make Stefan stay in his room. Even baby Nathan gets in trouble. Everyone's on edge. He sounds like an asshole. Then one day Grandfather arrives. It is a grim day. So hot your neck is sticky with sweat. Father, Mother, Stefan, Gloria, you and Nathan, the entire Brante family, stands on the porch in the front of the house. The house servants line up behind you. The carriage arrives, and out steps a tall, gaunt man with a heavy walking stick and a heavier gaze. You cringe instinctively. Good health to you, Father. Children, greet your grandfather as you've been taught. Still trying to look like a real nobleman, are you? You can't fool me, Robert. I was the first of the Brante family to be ennobled by the mantle, and I am the only one who remembers how to bear this burden properly. Oh, yep, he sounds like an arsehole. I live honourably by my lot. Your marriage to that lowborn wench cuts us off from ever becoming nobles of the sword. My progeny could have been born bearing noble blood. Father, I beg you, this is not the place. Grandfather eyes him with scorn and walks into the house, the entire family following close behind him. I've been away far too long. The entire house is a mess. This is an insult. How can you live in such a pigsty, Robert? The servants have grown far too lazy, all thanks to your commoner of a wife. I warned you, did I not? And yet you did as you saw fit. And the children, what do they know of tradition or honour? They're being raised in a virtuous family, Father. And now you speak like a lowborn who's content to live in humility? Twins willing. Now that I'm here, this will not happen again. I'm taking your oldest son to the capital. I see you cannot provide Stefan with a proper education, so I'll correct your mistake. Your brother's fate has been decided just like that. Father does not object. He orders the servants to prepare Stefan for the journey. Stefan freezes in place, glancing at Grandfather and Father again and again. Then the latter puts his hand on his shoulder reassuringly. Grandfather's lips are a tight line, white with contempt. The house is examined, room after room. Everything Grandfather sees is showered with scorn. He scoffs at a crease on the blanket in Nathan's crib and Mother's bedroom. He mocks Gloria's knitting in her room. The door to your room is next. What is this, Robert? Tin soldiers in your young son's room? He was born a commoner. I won't have him daydreaming of battle. Grandfather seizes the box containing the tin warriors of the Holy Order. Your father stays silent. Anger and fear boil within you. This is your big present from the first day of your studies. It means so much to you. But what if he's right? What if you need to prove your right to command the toy soldiers first? Grandfather shakes his head in disapproval and shoves the toy box into the roaring fireplace. If you wait too long, they will melt in the flames. I can't do that one. Or that one. Oh, we need one more perception for that. And we need one more determination for that. Burst into tears, I guess. Guess I'm just gonna burst into tears then. Like a baby. You watch your beloved present, the token of father's love and care, burn before your very eyes. The tin melts. The unpleasant smell of burning paint fills the air. For a moment you cannot breathe, and you can see no reason to maintain your composure. The tears start flowing, burning your cheeks and staining your shirt. You hide your face in your hands, and then you hear Grandfather's voice dripping with disdain. So the boy is a weakling just like his mother. Oh man, I'm out of willpower. Soon Grandfather leaves. Your elder brother Stefan goes with him. From that day on, Father's hired teachers tend to you alone. They bore you with monotonous lectures on writing, counting, and the way of life in the blessed Arknian Empire. You often distract yourself from their instruction by playing with your younger brother Nathan. Your home grows quiet without your elder brother. Too quiet. Weeks later, your family receives a letter from Stefan. Grandfather has sent him to a boarding school for nobles, and he is now studying hard in preparation for his service as a nobleman. The rules here are way too strict. You can't even sneeze without the teacher's permission. But I've been studying with my peers. We're learning how to live as nobles in a noble society. We're also learning the art of swordplay. That's my favourite part. With Stefan now at the boarding school, Grandfather arrives once more, this time to live in your home. The only good thing is that he often has urgent business in Eternia, the capital of the Empire, and has to travel there. One day you ask Mother where he lived before. In Eternia, she says, but now his place is here. Each time Grandfather returns, he gives the servants new orders. Your home is now always busy with repairs. The servants are redecorating Grandfather's chambers, including his library and sitting room. Sometimes Father tries to gently talk him out of this. Why subject the house to constant reconstruction? Grandfather's answer is always the same. This home is mine, and I will live here as befits a man of nobility. Some days Grandfather stays home, and on those days you try your best to stay out of sight. But there is no way you can avoid family breakfast. The food is there, but you cannot bring yourself to eat it. Mother's eyes are red and swollen. She's been crying all night again. Grandfather sits at the head of the table where nobody used to sit before. Robert, it is high time your youngest sons underwent their sacraments. Sir Brante, please, let them live free of their lot for a while longer. They are but... Shut your mouth. Robert, that wife of yours is impertinent enough to interrupt me. If this ever happens again, she'll be eating her gruel with the servants in the kitchen where she belongs. It is time you considered a real marriage, Robert, one to a woman of proper station. Gloria drops her fork. Grandfather shoots her a scathing look. A tear rolls down Mother's cheek. Father doesn't look away from his plate, his hands clenched into fists. Baroness Al-Ladar is one such woman. She is a comely widow and a fine match. She is suing for her inheritance right now, and could use proper support and a husband. You can keep your lowborn Lydia around if you like. Servant, mistress, I don't care. I will not do that, Father. I'm the head of this family, and the family's standing took a severe blow after you married that commoner. It is unthinkable. How could you give up on the memory of beautiful Amelia Elborn for this lowly woman and that bastard child of hers? But now you have a chance to set things right. Don't disappoint me. Father nods curtly, trying not to look in Mother's direction. Father, I wish to see Stefan. I find your conduct in the Baroness's presence satisfactory enough. If I find your conduct satisfactory enough, then you may see him. She's coming for a visit tomorrow. Be prepared. Grandfather wipes his mouth with his napkin, throws it onto his plate and leaves. Mother's lips move silently. Nobody says a word. Then Father stands up and orders you and the other children back to your rooms. He needs to speak to Mother in private. Father comes to your room before bedtime. He sits on the edge of the bed and adjusts a crease on the woolen blanket. He's distanced himself from you after Stefan's departure. You're not used to such attention from him. In the candlelight, you can see his face in the dark. There is a sour expression on it. My son, Baroness Emma Al-Ladar, will be visiting us tomorrow. Please be polite and treat her with respect. Nathan will do as you do. I want this dinner to be as immaculate as possible. Don't let me down. On the next day, Mother starts dressing you and Nathan for the coming dinner. You see red all around her eyes. She's been crying, and for a long time. It hurts just to look at her. Nathan starts whining quietly. You and Nathan are dressed in new doublets. Your tousled hair brushed into shape. Gloria is told to stay in her room. Father appears, wearing his best suit. Mother is in a humble brown dress, looking pale. Grandfather has an uncharacteristically contented look about him. You hear the sounds of wheels and hooves against the cobbles in the yard, then a pair of dainty heels come clacking. The antechamber is completely quiet, and still. Fearing Grandfather's observant eye, the door opens. You see your guest, a beautiful, dark-haired woman in the dress of an elegant deep blue. Father takes the hand of Lady Al-Ladar and kisses it, showering her in compliments. Grandfather's face is beaming in her presence. No one even bothers to introduce Mother. Baroness, allow me to introduce Robert's sons, Brucey and Nancy Brante. Nathan Brante. Frankly, it's his eldest, Stefan, who deserves the most attention, but currently he's studying in Eternia with other young noblemen like himself. It is my hope that his younger sons will also make me proud one day. Grandfather eyes you with a probing look. How will you act in front of the Baroness? Will you accept her here, next to your mother, your father's rightful wife? Man. I mean... fuck this guy. Walk away with Mother. You turn your back on the Baroness and walk to Mother. You walk upstairs to her room hand in hand. Behind your back, stunned silence reigns in the antechamber. Soon the two of you are alone. A burden falls from Mother's shoulders. She embraces you. Together, you wait until the dinner ends and the Baroness leaves. You didn't betray me. If only you could feel how grateful I am right now. The morning after, Father leaves for Eterna with Grandfather to visit Stefan. He returns from the capital in a quiet rage. You overhear your parents talking. Apparently grandfather has already poisoned Stefan's mind against him, and he greeted father with cold hostility. The name of Baroness El-Ladar is never mentioned in the house again. Oh, good. Man, he really doesn't like me, huh? Oh man, our honor's going down again. Hey, perception's up though, that's good. Willpower's still at 0, or minus 10, sorry. Probably need to do something about that at some point. The Ant Farm. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Oh, cool. Your younger brother Nathan is growing. Mother spends more time with the rest of the family now. You help her and play with your brother and take care of him when she asks. You often go to Mother's room and sit at the foot of her bed after Nathan falls asleep. She reads you the sacred books and asks you about the things that you learned that day. During these moments, you see the world through her eyes as well. One day, the door of your room opens and she brings in a large box covered with a piece of cloth. It is rare for you to see her so overjoyed. She sets the box on the floor and removes the cloth. The box underneath the cloth is made of glass and has a wooden base. Inside you see a layer of earth shaped into carefully crafted passages, and these passages are full of hardworking ants. Brucey, this is my gift to you, an ant farm. It is a little world in a small box. We can watch them through the glass. Look, this is the queen ant. She's the reason all these little ants were born. You sit by the box together. You hold your breath as you watch the ant colony at work. There turns out to be method to the ants' chaotic movements. Every single one of them has a task to perform. Some of them have larger mandibles. They are the protectors of the colony. They can draw blood from your finger. Others work all around the colony, repairing the walls and clearing any debris from the passages. There are also workers who collect food. You put into a special tray, leaves, bits of meat, maggots, and bring it to the rest of the colony. You take a worker in and put it right next to the food. However, the insect has no interest in it and starts circling around the tray aimlessly. Mother takes a stray ant and puts it back where it belongs. Why'd you do that, my son? The ants cannot do what they weren't born to do. Each one of them was born for their own job. You shake your head slowly. If only the ants could do whatever you wanted them to. This is your gift now, so they belong to you. Or maybe Mother's presence is the reason they won't obey you. No, I'll stick with Mother. I can get some willpower back. Sick. Oh, but I get insight here. What is insight? Destiny. Insight. I like that. Nah, I'm gonna stick with Mother. I feel bad for her. Mother's look is full of warmth and love. Nathan, Gloria, and Father are away right now. For the first time in a long while, it's just the two of you. And Mother takes great joy in watching over the ant farm. She shares her knowledge of the world with you. The things she tells you are true. You move closer to her and suggest going outside and finding some bugs for the ants. She agrees to this happily and holds your hands as you leave the house. Soon you're busy catching bugs and sharing your thoughts on how the ants will feed the colony with them. From time to time you laugh together, making up stories about errant flies and caterpillars overthrowing the ant kingdom. You and Mother hold hands as you return to your room. She can't help but smile. It is a faint smile, a child's smile, a smile full of sunlight. You're so happy to have seen the world through her eyes today. Yay, we get some willpower back. That's going to be huge. Nearly done with childhood. Thank God. Father now checks on your studies often and nitpicks you for sitting or eating or speaking in an incorrect fashion. Once he becomes annoyed, he says that he wishes Stefan had been the one to stay home instead of you. You never expected to hear those words from your father, of all people. No, he seemed quite nice before. Grandfather's trip to the capital took longer than expected. It feels lighter around the house without his presence. You allow yourself a little change of scenery. Instead of your room, you're now busy yourself with reading and calculations in the sitting room and crossing the open door in the yard. Gloria has joined you today. She's already helped you progress through several complex passages in the book. Right now she seems preoccupied with a strange tube. Aren't you hurt by the way Grandfather treats you, you ask? Gloria just shrugs. Grandfather always says that they should get rid of me. I'm used to it now. He hurts you a lot worse because you're closer to him. I just have to stay out of his way, that's it. She shows you the strange tube that she's been holding all day. Look, it's a kaleidoscope. I got it as a gift. Want to see inside? Excited by the idea, you close the book and peer into the tiny hole at the end of the tube. Your eye sees a multitude of intricate patterns. Each turn of the tube reveals a new web of interwoven colours. They mesmerise you. The kaleidoscope turns the fire burning in the fireplace into a cavalry made of flames. You're riding at the front of the fiery horseman, ready to face the enemy. Grandfather's face emerges from the intersecting lines and you swing the kaleidoscope like a sword, cutting it in half. Now you look at the blue sky through the window. The patterns are unending. secretive and calm and peaceful, just like Father's smile before Grandfather's invasion. The deep blue gives way to a scattering of gold radiating gentle warmth like Mother's arms. This fleeting beauty, too, soon gives way to a hypnotic new pattern. Again and again you see a family in these interconnecting figures as they come together and break apart. And in the middle of this golden glow you see Gloria's green eyes gazing at you observantly. Your sister left you long ago. The books are abandoned and time slips away unchecked, but you're still busy peering into the kaleidoscope. Order emerges from the chaos before your eyes again and again, but you cannot preserve it, no matter how hard you try. You were caught in an inner conflict. There is so much that can be done with this kaleidoscope. Should you take it apart? Or ask Gloria how it works? Or keep enjoying the patterns it shows you? But you still have lessons to do today. Oh man, I'm gonna get in trouble. Oh man, imagine if I took it apart, I'd be in so much trouble. I have to keep looking through the kaleidoscope, I can't do anything else. But that's gonna get us some willpower back, so that's good. You continue peering into the ever-changing patterns the kaleidoscope offers you. They become truly interesting when you point it at the shining pillar gleaming in the sky. In your mind's eye, one battle follows another, filling your ears with clanging steel and the neighing of horses. You're leading the Imperial Army now. Everyone is so proud of you. Grandfather says you're better than Stefan, and your father's stern voice cuts your daydream short. You lost all track of time. It's evening now. How'd you get your hands on this toy, Brucey? Why aren't you studying? Give it to me. You'll have to double lessons tomorrow. I hope you give it back to Gloria. Grandfather's visits are no longer a cause for fear and panic in the house. He's become something you're used to. Something nagging, yet not unordinary, like a splinter or stain in your trousers. The tension still remains, however. Sir Gregor's disdain for everyone in the house is so palpable it almost stings for real. Your lessons with the tutor are done for today. You're walking down the stairs when you spot Gloria peeping into the sitting room through a slightly open door. You sneak up on your sister and tap her lightly on the shoulder. She's startled. Oh, it's you, Brucey, look! Sir Gregor's eating something. Grandfather is sitting on the sofa, flipping through a book with one hand and reaching for a glass bowl with another now and then. Inside the bowl you see candied fruit, a sweet confectionery forbidden to the common estate, like all sweet things. Yet Grandfather's face shows no pleasure as he keeps consuming the high-born treats. The clock strikes 3. Grandfather rises from his seat, puts away his bowl on a shelf, and leaves for the yard. He always takes a walk in the city at this time. Gloria nudges you with her elbow and looks at the candied bowl when you look at her. The first emotion you feel is fear, but the next comes curiosity, and it's stronger. Stefan used to boast that candied fruit tastes incredible, and now you have a perfect opportunity to try it. You fucking murder us! You try a candy fruit first. The sugar starts to melt as soon as you put it on your tongue. It's so sweet. You've never eaten anything as good as this. You take the whole bowl off the shelf and give it to your sister. She takes the candied fruit and brings it to her mouth, carefully, like a rare treasure. There's a thumping on the stairs. Footsteps accompanied by the knocking of a walking stick. You have no idea why, but Grandfather is back. You quickly hide behind the sofa and pull Gloria after you. She's frozen in place with the bowl in her hands. The door opens. Grandfather's menacing figure advances on Gloria. His hands seize her arm. You squalid, ungrateful, lowborn child. How dare you bite the hand that feeds you? You and your trollop of a mother would be sleeping in a ditch if it weren't for my spineless son. The sweet and pleasant things in life are for the noble estate, not for the likes of you. Did you forget your lot? His hand swings and hits Gloria on the cheek. She falls to the floor right next to where you're hidden. His fingers glisten with the warm, melted sugar that brought you here. Grandfather advances again, his walking stick ready, but then he sees you huddled behind the armchair. Please don't hurt him, Sir Brante. This is all my fault. He tried to stop me. You can already see a bruise on Gloria's cheek. This is only the beginning of her punishment. Gloria was caught red-handed, unlike you. You can still avoid your punishment. What is it then, Milksop? Did you try the sugar too? Or are you trying to stop this piece of filth like she says? Don't mock him. Tell the truth. Oh, he'll actually like us more for that? If I mock him, that'll make Gloria like me more, but we'll both get the shit kicked out of us. Tell the truth. You stand up and tell the truth, even though it takes you a lot of effort to do it. You actually ate the candied fruit, but Gloria only touched it. You hope this will help your sister avoid punishment. You're quickly proven wrong. Grandfather's face is red with rage. He strikes you both with his walking stick, blow for blow. He keeps hitting you until he grows tired, and then he leaves you where you are. Soon enough, Mother comes in to find the two of you on the floor, too afraid to move. She shakes her head in disappointment. You're badly hurt and covered in bruises, yet she still forces you to kneel and recite the precepts of the lots and how important it is to follow them. Then you stand before father and grandfather and swear never to take things that do not belong to you again. Oh, my willpower, it's going away again. Asshole. Father and mother have been focused on Nathan and you since early morning. Instead of breakfast, you're told to say your prayers, wash your hands and faces, and get dressed in plain white shirts. Today is the day of your sacrament. Mother, I'm gonna go play in the yard. No playing today. You and Brucey are big boys now. It's time for you to both go have your first sacrament. No one can live without a lot. I don't want a lot. Be quiet and listen. You were born commoners, now you must accept a low-born lot before the twins. When you grow up, you'll get a chance to earn a noble lot. Father and mother take you to the carriage. Nathan is hungry. He starts whining. Grandfather is last to get in the carriage. His eyes are on you and your brother, looking for every fault. As soon as the carriage is moving along the streets of Anazot, slowly and solemnly, one more turn, and you see the colossal white building marked by two massive pillars. For the first time in your life, you are to enter the Church of the Twin Gods. You enter the gate and walk under the splendorous dome of the church. The church hall is divided into two halves. They're drastically different from one another. The floor on one side is rough and jagged and covered in dried brown spots, while the floor on the other is made of smooth marble. The commoners kneel on the jagged floor, and the well-dressed nobles and their families sit on pews. Father and grandfather leave you to sit on one of the nobles' pews. Mother walks to the rough stone of the commoner's side and gets down on her knees. You see her wince in pain, for the lowborn estate shall suffer in the house of faith. The church acolytes surround you and lead you to the altar where you and the other children will take your sacrament this day. Before you stands a tall priest dressed in black, with a sword in one hand and a hefty whip in the other. Nathan's whining grows louder. He dislikes this place. He's scared. You remain quiet, but your stomach roils in uneasy anticipation. That's right, we're going to get whipped, aren't we? Hooray! The first child to take the sacrament is a jaunty little boy from a family of nobles. The priest extends his sword before him and recites the words of his lot. From this day forth he will fight and rule and pursue the arts, his mind now forever free from the throes of suffering, for he now belongs to the noble lot. The boy proudly touches the flat of the blade with his lips. Nathan is next to receive the sacrament. He suddenly snaps out of his fearful trance and tries to break free, but the acolyte pulls him toward the altar and throws him on the jagged floor on the lowboard side. The sharp edges bite into Nathan's knees as he lands, spraying drops of red around him. I don't wanna! Brucey! Why do they want to whip me? What did I do? You try to break free and run to Nathan's side. You want to give him courage and protect him, but the acolyte's grip on you is too firm. You feel utterly helpless. Your little brother has to face the world all by himself. The priest starts reciting the words of the lot as he swings the lash over Nathan's shoulders. From this day forth, Nathan, thou shalt endure and work and suffer. Thou shalt be ardent in thy labour and humble in obedience to thy rulers. And now cometh the first true suffering, which thou must accept with gratitude. The lash cracks and strikes his right shoulder. It strikes his left shoulder. The blows are so powerful that Nathan falls to the floor. The priest tells him to rise. He has to receive his lot. Nathan gets on his feet and drags himself towards mother, but his knees are torn and bloodied, his spirit broken. It is your turn. Your feet will not move. You can barely muster enough strength to walk to the altar. You get down on your knees and feel the sharp stones below. So sharp your clothing cannot protect you. Your skin begins to burn. The acolyte forces your head down and you feel the lash being drawn above you, ready to strike. The priest's words are for you now. This is thy sacrament. Thou shalt work and endure and suffer. Thou art about to receive thy first true suffering by the sacred lash. Dost thou accept thy lot? Oh man, we'll get killed for that too. Eh, whatever. I'll accept it. I've always been a commoner anyway, I can deal with that. The moment before the lash reaches you, stretches out into eternity. Its sound approaches you slowly as it slices through the air. The whip cracks, it strikes you on the right shoulder. The lash is so heavy it bends your back and forces you to the floor. The lash cracks again, it lands on your left shoulder. There's blood running down your back. Rise now, commoner, the priest tells you. You stand. Everything looks blurry. You can barely walk on the sharp floor. Mother takes your hand and leads you away from the altar. There is agony, but there is also unfathomable tranquility. This is right. This is what you deserve. This is how it should be. This is the way of the world and its laws. From this day forth, you will accept all suffering in life with humility and patience, for you are a commoner. Oh man, my determination went down, but my perception went up. That's getting pretty high. You have taken your first sacrament and received a commoner's lot. The mark left on you by the sacrament takes a long, long time to heal. Mother says it's a reminder of your lot, suffering and sufferance, pain and patience. Gloria shows you the mark of the lash on her shoulder one day. It will never disappear. You're a commoner now. This is the lot you were born into, but Father keeps telling you to study hard, and you may yet earn a different lot and become a noble of the mantle. You recall the past with warm sadness, when Stefan still lived with you, or when he wrote to you for a time shortly after he left. Now you think it's beneath him to write to the commoners in his family. Mother didn't lock herself in the bedroom as often back then. This changed shortly before Nathan was born, but most importantly, you missed the time before the terrifying figure of your grandfather was constantly looming over you. Yeah, get old and die already, asshole. You learn the true power of the lot only after the head of the family's arrival. In grandfather's eyes, no commoner deserves to be treated with kindness. Is it just him? Or is it the way of the entire world? The very thought makes you queasy. You're older now, and what's more, you're an elder brother now. You've learned how to care about someone else, how to teach and protect. Soon you're a small boy no longer. As the days pass, play gradually gives way to laborious studies. Now, your choices will decide your place in the bizarre and ruthless world of adulthood. Your childhood years are over. Cool. Are we good then? Personal qualities you've accumulated. I mean, my determination's at 2, my perception's at 6, so my determination's pretty shitty, which is funny because I thought that would be the stat that I'd go for mostly, but perception 6, which my perception in real life is atrocious. Willpower is 0, as usual. Death, untouched by death, which is always good. I love being untouched by death, especially when I'm a child. Adolescence.
I was growing up fast. The school, the streets, and the whole wide world awaited me beyond the gate of my parents' house.
As long as we've got Nathan and Gloria and Mum, we should be alright, you know? That's the main thing. You've lived in this world for 8 years now. As you grow older, life grows more complex. The world of your childhood was limited to your house and family, but now that realm is expanding. It also includes your neighborhood, the entire houses, the nearby houses, the streets of the ancient city of Anazot. The question now looms over you, growing more pressing with each passing year. What will your place be in this vast outside world? Few people in the blessed Arknian Empire trouble themselves with this question. Why does the K and the N go right next to each other? Is that just to make it hard to pronounce? Arknian. It's not whether a man or woman's within a man or woman's power to choose. Their destiny is predetermined by birth and those who bore them. And yet your peculiar birth has granted you a choice. Your father is a man of nobility, a worthy example in matters of duty and honour. Your mother is a commoner of lowly estate, humility and patience made flesh. And your sky is a blaze day and night with the light of the shining pillar, the beacon of the clergy. Your back bears the mark of the lash. Will you accept the drudgery and suffering that is the lot of the lowborn for your entire life? Or will you follow in the footsteps of your father and your father's father, and fight for the right to serve the Empire as a noble of the mantle? Perhaps you'll follow the twin god's word and offer spiritual guidance to others. The answer lies out there in the vast, terrifying world. What awaits you beyond the walls of your home? You tell me. Okay. Events that can happen. Gloria's secret, Stefan's disgrace, blood tide, Nathan's admonition. Matters of the heart, revelation of the tree, Sophie is saved. I don't know who Sophia is. Your personal qualities at this age. Oh, we go back to zeros, do we? I see. Cool. Sections open in this chapter. Relations, province, and map. Good. And with that, I suppose it's the perfect time to wrap this episode up, isn't it? Just going into adolescence here. Be a good way to start off the next episode. So far so good, I think. You know, getting whipped and being treated like shit, but you know, we're still alive. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.